I'm going to move to the youth program now, and I'd like to invite Armeet Singh first here. We have, I was looking for a little break on the time, and one of the youth speakers, she backed off and she said that she will not be here. So we're saving about 10 minutes from her, but we're 1 hour late. So let me tell you about Armeet Singh. He's been in the Guru Nanak Khalsa school for about 8 years, and he learned tabla and has been participating in our Campbell Foundation speech competition. And he really enjoys it and thinks these were some of the best decisions he made for his life, and that made him participate in the Kirtan and also learn from some of the world's best music teachers. And this has helped him, this public speaking has helped him to become a leader of his troop in the Boy Scouts, vice president of the programming club in his school, as well as volunteer teacher in his karate class. He has won gold medal at the Sri Hemkunt International, and he wishes to thank all his teachers and Guru Nanak Khalsa School where he went this school. So, Armeet ji, please come. Armeet's speech is titled Our Vices, Funds, Humility, Equality and Grace. It's a broad range of topics. So let's
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਇਸ ਤੇਰੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਪੰਜ ਚੋਰ ਵਸੇ ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਲੋਭ ਮੋਹ ਅਹੰਕਾਰਾ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਲੁਟੇ ਮਨਮੁਖ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੁਝੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਸੁਨੇ ਪੁਕਾਰਾ ਅੰਧਾ ਜਗਤ ਅੰਧ ਵਰਤਾਰਾ ਬਾਜ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੁਬਾਰਾ। The five vices, काम, क्रोध, lobh, moh and ahankar, standing between us and the Supreme. The five weaknesses of humanity. Of these five vices, lobh or greed is the most harmful. Lobh is the overpowering desire to want more of everything. It is caused by the lack of satisfaction. A content mind will never want more. It is only when we are disturbed that we want more and more. It is the power of lobh that corrupts us and blinds us from seeing the difference between our needs and our wants. Much of the conflict in our lives arises from the greed of world leaders, countries, businesses, and individuals. Companies try to maximize their profit, making unethical decisions and stooping low to generate larger revenues. Under the influence of lobh, the rich grow richer every day, while the poor are left on the streets. The natural question to ask is, how can we end our lobh? Our Guruji's taught us that bhakti, satsang, and devout following of Vaheguruji's teachings can end our lobh. Bhakti is the loving devotion of God. We must practice Simran and always be aware of Guruji. A second way to overcome lobh is to practice satsang, which is to keep the company of saints who radiate spiritual qualities. By remaining in the sangat, one kills the greed and heals the mind. A third way to overcome lobh is to follow the teachings of the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The teachings can take us further than any teacher, granting us a sword of true spiritual wisdom. Gur te gyan paya as khadak karara, duja param garkatya moholobh ahankara. Our Gurujis taught us that spiritual realization comes from company of saints, renouncing their pride, and teachings of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. On the path to realization, we must find our shortcomings and learn to overcome them. The five kinds of realization represent the five stages of spiritual progress towards the ultimate truth. Taram Khand ka eho taram. Every journey has a beginning. Taram Khand is the beginning of our journey towards such kind. Gyan Khand mein gyan parchan. Gyan Khand is the study of all forms of knowledge. In this Khand, we seek to expand our vision and our openness. Saram Khand ki bani ru. Saram Khand is the Khand of spiritual experience. In this Khand, a person fights against the last few traces of ego that are still left in their soul. By practicing grace, staying in the Sangat, and practicing grace, we can master this Khand. Karam Khand ki bani jo. Karam Khand is the realm of action, where all other teachings and wisdom are applied. In this Khand, we learn to help other people and to rid ourselves of our attachment to physical objects. We must always remember that there is no order to our journey throughout the Khands. Every kant must be mastered simultaneously. By realizing our vices, acquiring intellect, gaining spiritual knowledge, and learning to apply these teachings to our lives, we can achieve such kant, the liberation from the 5 vices, and put an end to this endless cycle of birth and death. Such kant vise nirankar, kar kar vekhe nadar nihal. Our Gurujis taught that humility is the key to such kant. It is the key to overcoming pride. It is the refusal to expect and demand respect from others. A person with humility will feel content and self-satisfied. One who calls himself the lowest of the low is a true follower of the Guruji. Apis ko jo jani nicha, so ganya ai sabse ucha. In their teachings, our Gurujis taught how humility was key to following Vaheguruji to such kant. Although humility is very easy to admire, it is very hard to practice. It is human nature to want recognition for our good deeds. We must learn to suppress this feeling and act without the expectation of recognition. To cultivate humility, we must learn to let go of our pride, accepting our imperfections, our self-centered thoughts, and sense of superiority. We must learn to accept only the warm feeling in our hearts when we do something to help others. At birth, we are classified. We find ourselves in social, caste, economic, and religious groups. What can we do to step over these barriers, to stop the inequalities we face in this world and bring back equality to society? Firstly, the caste inequalities in our world must be ended. We must understand that we can't treat someone based on where they were born. These caste systems, where children of high-ranking individuals are guaranteed to an easy life of pleasure, creates entitlement. It creates pride and ego. Those born into the lower castes have no way of finding their way to the top. We must end the entitlement that one feels because of their wealth. We must end racial discrimination and treat people of all colors the same. We must end gender-based discrimination and learn to treat men and women alike. A woman should be able to own men, vote, have all the same rights as men, be able to choose who she wants to marry, the right to work wherever she wants, and the right to be paid the same. We must end religious discrimination and let all people practice their religion freely. Jan ho jot na pucho jati, agge jat na hai. Racial equality is something that resonates with me because of all the people I see every single day. I'm lucky to live where I do and see so many different people. Racial equality is a real thing in our society. There are many people in this world that look down on others just because of their appearance. We must learn to suppress our inner biases and treat everyone the same. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said that such and union are achieved through grace. Grace is not part of one kind. It is practiced everywhere. Grace is all we need to meet our Guruji. By Vaheguruji's grace, we can learn the universal truth. A devotee undertaking a journey throughout the 5 kants understands that their progress is possible only with Guruji's hukam. We must let Guruji's grace guide us. Upje sehaj gyan mat jagya, gur prasad antar liv lagya, id sangat nahi marna, hukam pachanta khasme milna. We should seek Vaheguruji's blessing for everything that we do. By praying, we are reminded to stay away from actions that may go against our prayer. Practicing grace means to let go of things that are not against our prayer. We must put grace in front of all emotions. According to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, karma or action can only be done and undone by the Guruji's grace. Grace can be granted to anyone, just as it is the power of the head of state to pardon a criminal. It is under the Guruji's grace that even evildoers can be brought into his court of law. Jinko nadar karam tinkar, nanak nadri nadar nihal. Vaheguru Ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki fateh.
What a wonderful presentation in such a short time. He presented so many different ideas and so well. We're so proud of you, Praveen. Next, I'd like to call Chaplin Kaur, and she's going to talk about the history of 18th century brave Sikhs and how their lives impacted Sikhism and Sikhs today. Chaplin Kaur is a 9th grader at Evergreen Valley High School, and she has been participating in hymn speech and frequent competitions for a few years and enjoys doing them. She plays harmonium and also has been learning the Zuba for about 2 years. Outside of school, she enjoys playing field hockey.
Vaheguru. Vaheguru Ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki fateh. Patience, humility, love. These are the qualities Jessa Singh Ahluwalia incorporated during his life. Jessa Singh's mentor started with Mata Sundari Ji, his mother and his nurturer. She was a person who fed his mind by teaching him Nitnem, and most importantly, fed his soul by teaching him Kirtan. Mata Sundari taught Jessa Singh Kirtan, Gurbani, and the art of war and peace. Another role model is Bhai Mani Singh, who taught him scriptures about humility and love. Nawab Kapoor Singh was a father figure. When assigning roles during training, Nawab Kapoor Singh handed him the role of tending the horses. However, this was no ordinary job, as it taught him how to show love and patience. Mithat ni vinanaka gunchangiyaya tad. Jessa Singh, the king of the nation, demonstrated patience along with bravery to fight against Abdali's 9 invasions, which lasted 2 decades. By Jessa Singh lived the words of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, that great is a person who remembers Vaheguru even on the battlefield. He believed that the Khalsa is a living embodiment of the Guru. The humility and commitment he had for others played a major role when he freed 2,200 Hindu women held captive by Abdali. Thus he became known as Guru Kala. Sardar Bhagel Singh was born in Jabal near Amritsar. He was the head of the Karor Singhiya missile in the 18th century. In 1783, Sardar Bhagel Singh came to Imperial Delhi with around 30,000 Sikhs. They had 2 strategically planned out attacks. One attack was surrounding the Red Fort, and the second was invading the Jmedi Gate. After intense clashes, the Singhs had captured Red Fort. The Kesari flag was hoisted for the first time. The Panch Pyare sat on the throne of Delhi, not Sardar Bhagel Singh, as a symbol to show the Khalsa's victory. Defeated Emperor Shah Alam agreed to 4 conditions in order for him to keep his throne. 1. No Mughal official would indulge in atrocities on the Sikhs. 2. The Mughal king would pay 300,000 rupees as a gift. 3. The Kotwali area would remain property of the Khalsa army. And 4. Sardar Bhagel Singh would trace historically significant Sikh places in Delhi and would establish Sikh Gurdwaras there. With the help of Sikhs, Muslims, and Hindus, Sardar Bhagel Singh was able to establish the 7 Gurdwaras. However, we must note that Bhagel Singh did not ask anything for himself. He simply wanted to carry on the legacy of the Gurus. Sardar Bhagel Singh was truly a Sant Sipahi and devoted his life to Amrit Prachar. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a voluntary act and is not a sign of weakness. It needs courage. Courage to express sympathy for someone. Courage to stand in front of the person who got hurt in some manner. And finally, courage to accept one's fault. Jaha log te kaal hai, jaha khima te aap. One Sikh realized that he had done wrong and asked for forgiveness was by Sukha Singh. At 14 years, Bhai Sukha Singh was inspired by the bravery of Sikhs and took Amrit to become a Khalsa. Villagers, including his own parents, got frightened upon seeing the Sikhs and wanted Bhai Sahib to renounce Sikhism. However, with Guru's grace, Bhai Sahib got help from the Gloria missile, but stole a horse from the village Nambardar to ride on. After many years, Bhai Sukha Singh decided to visit the village of Nambardar. Bhai Sahib, with folded hands, asked for forgiveness for stealing the horse. He even offered money. The village was touched by the humility of Bhai Sukha Singh. Not only was he a brave warrior, but also humble in asking for forgiveness. This also helped him in earning respect and friendship with Nambardar. In the 18th century, Khalsa was divided into 2 groups, Buddha Dal and Tarna Dal. The purpose of the Buddha Dal, divided group, was to protect Gurdwaras and train the Tarna Dal, who would act as combat forces. The important reason for this division was to maintain the Sikh solidarity. Later on, the entire Sikh force was unified into a single body, called the Dal Khalsa. Dal Khalsa liberated the whole India, not only Sikhs, from Mughal atrocities. As it says in Sukhmani Sahib, Brahm Gyani Kai Garibi Samaha, Brahm Gyani Paripkaramaha. Similar to the sunlight, which is made of 7 colors, there are many colorful organizations within Sikhism. The Jagara organization help instill core Sikh values into young Sikh kids. The United Sikhs help stand against bullying and discrimination for any minority group. We also have Khalsa Aid, who are the first to reach the disaster site. All these organizations are working on the principles of Sarvata Bala. Sikh youth are born to stand apart in the crowd. From the time we first stepped onto the school grounds, either with our long braids or patkas, we were meant to look and be different. However, Sikh kids have the fear of being judged. These feelings can be summed up in 2 words: peer pressure. One effective approach is by educating students, staff, and parents about Sikh religion. Following the life of the brave Sikhs of the 18th century, it inspires me to tell Sikh youth of my age to have a very high moral character. At the same time, have compassion for every human being. The second challenge for Sikh kids is to keep a strong faith in Sikh values and principles. To address this issue, 1, I want to organize short presentations on the lifestyles of 18th century Sikhs, so that Sikh youth get a glimpse of how to have strong faith. In those times, you had to choose between Sikhi and life. Looking different is part of our identity and who we are as Sikhs. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Bole Sone Har.